things, which is nice. Rishabh has started a new product now. Okay, so thank you everybody again. This is the 20th show that I'm having. And again, every day, every time, I feel I'm incredibly lucky. When I started this in February, I started as an experiment, and now we are here on the 20th session. So I'm very thankful to all of you. Without you folks, this wouldn't have happened. So I'm very thankful to all of you. So today we are going to talk about productivity. And a note to anybody who is seeing it on LinkedIn, so you can come and join. You can go to jeju.com/GW show, Grab It Husband Show, and you can come and join us here. Before we start, again, let's keep this interactive. What do you understand as productivity? Put it on chat or switch on your video, switch on your audio, whatever form you're comfortable with, either chat or come on audio and answer, or even switch on your video and answer. What do you think? What is your definition of productivity?
According to me, productivity can be defined as how effectively work can be done within given less time.
Okay, Sarang says it is more work in a day. Thanks, Akshay. And Norton says achieving something. Okay, achieving something.
Delivering valuable work.
Delivering valuable work. Okay, Abhinav, you are showing your business analyst hat.
Yes.
Which is good. Delivering valuable work. Value addition to delivery. That is what Yuvraj is saying. Good. Sukhwinder, being from manufacturing, he's giving the precise definition, or at least the precise definition as per World Economic Forums and so on and so forth. Ratio between input and output. We will see that, Sukhwinder. Dinesh, yes, very well. Desired output in the defined timeline. Very nice. Rajat, this is good. What we are thinking and what we are achieving at the end. There is always okay, Rajat, let's take this particular thing. And Xavier has given a fantastic one, which I like. Xavier comes up with this one-liners, which I always love. Living your life to its capabilities. That's productivity. We will see, whether we do that. Okay, we will see that today. So Rajat and Xavier, you have kind of deviated from the general talk about productivity, getting things done, and so on and so forth. You both have gone beyond that, and then you are saying what we think, what we should do, and what we end up doing it, right? So there's always a gap, or when we do that, it is good. And Xavier is saying living your life to its capabilities, that's being productive. Xavier, would you want to expand on that particular aspect? Why would you say living your life to its capabilities is productivity?
Yeah, sure. See, the word productivity has, to me, it has multiple contexts. Most people try to think about it as something that you get related to work. Okay, but it's not just work. Productivity can be something that's in your other parts of your life, not just work. You could be a good father, a productive father, if you're spending time with your kids, and if you could be a better partner to your spouse by listening to them, or spending your time with them.
Wonderful. Thanks, Xavier. So that's the kind of a thing that I like, and that's the kind of a thing that I think we all should aspire to. It is not only about work, because we identify ourselves with the work. How often somebody walks up to me and says, "Hey, Joseph, who are you? What do you like?" If I have to introduce, I will say, "I am Joseph Jude. I am a CTO." That is what has become my identity. And that is how we have become, right? Rajat, would you want to expand on what you said, what we are thinking and what we are achieving at the end? If you would like to expand on that. Okay. So the point here is all of us are thinking about, that's fine, Rajat. Yeah, please put it on the chat. All of us are thinking about productivity means work. And we want to do more work given a particular point in time. And I want to challenge that, and I want to say, how can we think a little differently about productivity? Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk about, and let us see how it comes through. Okay, and okay, so as I say, productivity is a mindset, and which is kind of agreeing to what Xavier is talking about. It is not only about work. Productivity is not only about work. Productivity is across your life. You can be a productive father. You can be a productive husband. You can be a productive person in the society, and so on and so forth. Right? So productivity doesn't have to be limited only to work. That's the point that I want to mention. And how can we be in that particular aspect is what we are going to see. So in that particular context, can everybody mute yourself? Productivity is not an occasional act, something that we do between 9 to 5, or morning 9 to evening 9 o'clock, or when we are in the office. No, it is not an occasional act. It is an attitude. That is how we approach life. So anything that we are talking about as productivity, we will see what productivity is and how productivity can be. But it is not something that we do on a particular day. So Monday to Friday, we are productive. Saturday and Sunday, we are not productive. 9 to 5, we are productive. Outside that, we are not productive. When we are with a client call or client work, we are productive. Otherwise, we are not productive. No, that is not productivity. So productivity is a permanent attitude that you have. So when we say that, the duality of our time, there is so much of technology, there is so much of information, there is so much of opportunities. It has increased from our parent time. If you compare it to our parents, what we have is amazing technology. Today I can sit in my room and I can talk to people in Bangalore, in Delhi, and everywhere. I can talk to all of these folks. That technology allows information. You take a topic, some esoteric topic, some weird topic, you have information on it. It is accessible on your fingertips. The opportunities are more. So that's one side. It is really, really good. I don't want to ignore that. That's fantastic. But on the non-tangible aspect, happiness, satisfaction that we get from our life, the time that we spend with our kids, the time that we spend with our family, the time that we spend with the things that we want to do, that we want to contribute to the society, there is always a gap. There is a shortness there. We are not always happy, or we are not satisfied with our work, with our time. If I were to ask you today, and some of you would be open, how satisfied are you about your day? Let's say, for example, not just today, right? Say, for example, last week. How many of you are satisfied? I'm sure 50% of you would say it could be better. You may not want to kind of acknowledge in the public that you are not satisfied with your work. So the polished way of saying it is, it could be better. How many of us get up on Monday morning and we say, I'm happy to go to work, or I'm happy to even get up and do things, whatever that I want to do? How many of us are like that? So this is the duality of our time. On one side, some of these tangible things like technology, information, and opportunities have improved quite a lot from our parents' days. But how much are we satisfied with our life? How much are we satisfied with the time that we are spending with our kids and with our family and what we are contributing to the society? How many of us are even involved in some fashion in contributing to the society? Right? So there is a huge gap there. And as Sukhwinder ji correctly identified, We measure productivity as a ratio between the units of output and units of input, which means, say, for example, as a software guy, how much of code I created within a span of time. Now we have become a little more sophisticated. People like Abhinav, they might say, hey, you know what? Number of lines of code doesn't really matter. So we'll talk about number of features that has been developed. Abhinav might call it as stories. Somebody else might call it as features. But the point is how many stories we created, we developed in a particular span of time. So that is productivity. We might call it as in whatever form that we want to call it. But fundamentally what we are saying is what's the output? How much time, how much effort, how much money we spent in developing that output, right? So that's what we are measuring as productivity. The question that we are not asking is this output really worth? Should I even do it? Is it needed? We have created China and few other countries, and probably India is also adapting that, manufacturing tons and tons of plastic. So our productivity is high, but is it needed? Should this world be filled with plastic? We don't ask that question. We don't stand to ask that question. We don't pause. Even the work that we do, we don't pause and say, is this needed? Is it satisfying me? Does it meet some form of a goal that I have? So we don't ask that particular question, right? Output. And what about the opportunity cost of input? We spend 8 hours, we spend 10 hours doing something. Could I have done something else in that particular time which would have created more value? We talked about, when I asked what is productivity, many of us talked about providing value to the delivery, providing value to our customers and clients and so on and so forth, providing value. But we don't pause and ask, during this particular time, using this amount, putting this much of effort, could I have done something else? We don't ask that. That's an opportunity cost. So I'll give you an example. Let's say, for example, you bought a cake for 5 rupees. And I come in and say, okay, I'll give you 500 rupees, give it to me. Would you give that to me or not? Now, there is the opportunity cost, right? So if you give me that, you're getting 500 rupees, even though you only spent about 5 rupees. Many a times what we will do is that, no, I bought it for myself. I'm attached to this. This is the only thing that I know. So I'll go and eat it. We are losing the opportunity cost there. We are not looking at that opportunity cost. Many times what we do to save, I know petrol prices are increasing. Let's not get political. But then the point that I want to mention is many of us, we would drive for half an hour to another petrol station where the petrol is 1 rupee less, right? We don't look at, okay, what's the input and what's the output that I'm getting? Is it worth my time? So we are not pausing to ask that. All that we are doing is output. I'm just going to sit on my computer, type, and I'm going to send out this document. I have to create 5 proposals today. I'm going to do that. I have to create 500 lines of code. I'm going to do that. I have to I have to send off 5 widgets today. So I'm going to send that off. We don't pause to ask, is that the right thing that I have to do? So we have talked about efficiency. We have improved on our efficiency, but none of us are asking, is that effective, right? So let's look at some of the unconventional ways to productivity. But before that, any of you have any questions? Do you want to, have any points that you want to say? Anyone else wants to comment on anything on whatever that I have said so far? Any comments? Okay, so I'm going to keep going. So let's look at some unconventional ways, and I believe it is unconventional. We will see how it goes. Okay, I told you it is going to be unconventional. If you want to be productive, we talked about, Xavier talked about life and productivity. Rajat talked about life and productivity. But do we know what we want in life? What we want to be in life? For me, this experience, I did this. I wrote my own obituary. That helped me a lot to know what I want in life, what I should be doing in my life. And that's what I'm going to do, nothing else. So I said, I'm going to work only 3 days a week. Rest of the time, I'm going to spend with my kids, because I wanted my kids to grow up and say, if not on my last day, I want them to say, Dad spent all the time that when we were growing up, he spent as much time with us. He told us stories. He made us laugh. He was with us during lunch. He was with us during dinner. And he played a huge role in shaping our mindset, shaping what we believe, and shaping our character. That's what I want them to say. So when you know what's the legacy you want, then everything starts to fall into pieces, yeah, its own pieces, right? Like Xavier said, like, I mean, can you be a productive person in the society? So again, what do you want my friends to say? Then, okay, if this is what I want my friends to say, then go and do that. If that means changing your job, changing your city, changing some of the other environment, yeah, so be it. Let's do that, right? Some of my friends, especially in the software, most of you guys are in the software industry, so you might know this. I might have said this multiple times as well, is that many of my friends will start the day at 6 o'clock in the morning with a call. Client call, manager call, review call, whatever call it is. They will start the day, and they will grab a sandwich or something. They'll put on their suit, they'll leave, and they will not have time to see their kids off. And they come back home when the kids have already gone to sleep, and they are still on the call until 12 in the night. Yes, sir, they are talking. And I mean, sometimes the kids might ask, who is this uncle who is coming only on the weekend? I said, that is not the life I'm going to spend. So I changed my life. That came in because I wrote the obituary. And I started behaving the way that I wanted to do. Now, you might say, Joseph, this is very ridiculous. But as a matter of fact, if you see, there are two examples I'm going to give you. Alfred Nobel, you might know about him because he started this Nobel Prize. How did he come to create this Nobel Prize? He was into dynamite industry. A French newspaper mistook his brother's death as his death, and they published an obituary saying the merchant of death had died. So he said he was lucky enough to read it, and he said, this is not the legacy I want to be. I want to change it. So he went and changed it. That's how we came to know about Nobel Prize, and we all appreciate him for Nobel Prize, not for all the other ways that he earned that money. Likewise, Steve Jobs, when he knew that he had only about 3-4 years, he said, knowing that I'm going to die made me to take my decisions properly. What is important to me was clear once I knew this is all the time that I had. Now, we don't have to go into that extreme, right? We are not lucky like Alfred Nobel to read our own obituary, so you can write your own obituary. Do you have any questions on this? What do you think about this? Any questions? Ashwini, do you have any comments on this? I know
Yeah.
you on this.
Yeah, so this is something like I think I learned a couple of weeks back, and the Alfred Nobel example, and also when during our book house review and clubhouse review, book review, we learned about this. So it set a lot of things in motion for me, and one action that I think I have achieved is like I've been like not calling some people, and I put off things, like sort of bad feelings and all that. I'm like, when I heard about that, what am I leaving behind? Why hard feelings? I didn't wait for an opportunity. So like a couple of days back, I just got the opportunity to talk to a couple of people who I've like put off, like my relatives, sort of patched up. So that is something really made a change. The reading, listening to the book review, and even the whole Alfred Nobel thing which you have been mentioning is really resonates. What is that? How are people going to remember me? So that's one good learning.
Thanks, Ashwini. Yeah. By the way, Abhinav, do you want to say anything?
Yes. So before even having this Gravitas Wins community, I remember having a coffee date with Joseph a couple of years back, where he actually explained me the Gravitas Wins concept, and he explained this obituary thing, and it really hit me hard. I think that was the day when actually, just like Aswini, realized that what is in to fight or have like negative feelings around anybody. When anybody dies, everything is over and everything is done and dusted after them. So why not keep happy memories only, and why not just resolve in this life? Why not make an effort to have everything positive that has positive outcome in this life? So that impacted me a lot, especially in the way I did parenting. So I think that changed my attitude, and that is when started to making an effort that I need to be a mentor to my child, rather than just being a parent and just calling her out that I am your father and you have to listen to me. So it is that she should be afraid of me because I am her mentor, and not her father. So that is really important, and that is what the importance of writing this obituary thing impacted me on my life.
Thanks, Abhinav. Thanks for sharing your, words on this. KK, you have anything to add here?
Yeah, Joseph. So one thing I want to ask is, right, like how is this mindset, right? Like, for example, we are all in some sort of life which we are accustomed to, and maybe my job is not something to my liking, but it is giving me money, and it takes care of all other things. So suddenly, like this writing my obituary means probably I'm not going to say that this true, for example. So, I mean, so far my life has revolved around it. Now, suddenly, if I need to make the change, I mean, it is not something, anything which is imaginable to do at this point of time, because a lot of other disturbances will happen in the life. How to handle this mindset? Like, it's not it's more easy said than done is what I would say, but it's a very tough decision, right? Like, for example, for Steve Jobs or Alfred Nobel, they are all in a different plane. They had already made their wealth and things like that. I mean, I am talking from a common man standpoint. So
Sure.
they were already achieved, and I mean, that's a different league altogether.
Sure. Now, think about I'm Alfred Nobel, okay? I have made money all the time on dynamite factories. And that is what I have been. Now, suddenly I go and say, I'm going to do this. Do you think it is easy? Say, for example, I'm going to park this money, millions of dollars, onto something else. Do you think it would have been easy for him? Do you think all his family would have accepted? Oh, this is fantastic, man. Let's do it. Yes, we don't need money. That money you can spend it on this. You can spend it to people whom you don't know. Do you think it would have been easy?
I don't know, but maybe it's not as easy as I am, is what I will say.
No, the thing is, see, I mean, I worked with some of the wealthy people, not like millionaires and billionaires, but I worked with some of these. End of day, they are all people. They all have priorities. So that's one. Okay, so that's one point. Even for Steve Jobs, see if Steve Jobs did it, but others couldn't do it. So like I mean, so it is not that. I think we are all keeping them at a far distance and saying it is possible for them, it is not possible for me. So that's one. Okay, so we'll keep it aside. The reason why I talked about myself is that, and I have repeatedly said this, none of the thing that I'm talking about is my own. I didn't invent any of these things. I borrowed extensively from others. But none of the things are all that I somehow read and I'm going to talk to you about. All of them are something that I have practiced. And not just yesterday I practiced and today I'm talking to you about, but all of them I have practiced over a long period of time. I know it works, and that's why I talk about it. Okay. Two, you just now heard from Abhinav and Ashwini. They made some silent changes, slight changes. It may not be big. It may not be like they left their job and went to a different job. Abhinav only changed about his parenting. Ashwini only changed about her relationship with her relations. That small change is good enough to start with, right? So the point here is, KK, knowing what we want to do and then adjusting to it. Let's say, for example, I can't leave my job, and I need this money, I have EMI, and so on and so forth. I have all of these kinds of stuff, but I want to spend as much time as possible with my son. You can make some changes. Maybe only on the weekends you say, okay, enough is enough. I'm not going to work on weekends. Today I'm working all the time on the weekends. I'm going to spend 1 hour with my kid. I'm going to take him out. I'm going to spend time with him. I'm going to tell about my dad. I'm going to tell about my life, and I'm going to tell stories, and I'm going to make him laugh. Small thing, not much. I'm going to do that. That's good enough, right? That's a good change that you're bringing in. And every small change will lead to something big at a later point in time. So that's the point, okay? So you may not be able to bring one big change, and we all think life is one big change. It is not. Life is a series of small changes that are done with purpose. So if you can bring that in, it is fantastic. Sukhvinder, you also raised hand. Do you want to talk about something? You want to share something?
I'll just cut it short. I just wanted to say on obituary part, it primarily helps us in disengaging from the process and getting closer to the purpose. What you have just now said.
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, I want these sessions to be interactive. It is not a monologue. It is not like I will come in, I will say something, and then you all have to listen kind of a thing. So please feel free to ask questions, put it on the chat and everything. And then depending on the time, I will pick it up, and then we will have a discussion, right? I'm okay not saying everything that I wanted to say. I'm okay with that. As long as it's that 1 hour is valuable to all of you, I'm happy about that, okay? And by the way, Krishna and everybody, Sukhvinder, Abhinav, and Ashwini, all of them are students of Gravitas Wins course. I teach this, and they write this obituaries, and they make changes in their life. And all of them have done this. So if you are interested, you can check out my Gravitas Wins course, and I'm starting in the second week of July, the next cohort. So you can join if you are interested, okay? So now let's continue. So that's one. I told you it's going to be an unconventional thing. So the other thing is, we all know time is money, and we all talk about it, right? You don't waste. I tell my kid, don't waste time. And we all have been said, time is something that is available equally to everybody. 24 hours is all that the President Biden has, Prime Minister Modi has, and I have. So no change. You can't really change that. That's fine. Time is money. If A equal to B, then B equal to A, right? Money is time. That means you can buy time with money, and then you can say, Joseph, I can't really get more than 24 hours. That's false. No, it is true. You can buy time with money. I'll give you an example. Now, of course, we can't drive, but when we used to, when everything was normal, if there is a travel which is more than about half an hour, if I have to go somewhere, it's a 1 hour travel, and I'm going, I will take Ola or Uber. I don't care. Because that 1 hour, I could either listen to a podcast, or I can sleep, or I can talk to somebody. I'm buying time. So this is a shift that I want you to have. If time is money, money is time. You can use money to buy time. Say, for example, how often you have used your laptop and the laptop is giving troubles. I'm assuming you have Windows laptop or some, low-end laptop. Spend some more money and get a good laptop which doesn't give you that problem, right? I have this laptop 4 years. So far, it has not given me any trouble. I can open it and it'll work. Money is time. So you can spend a little more money and then buy time. I spend at least about $1 lakh on some of the services that I'm using, which kind of give me a lot of time. Say, for example, I'm using Restream now to stream to LinkedIn and Facebook and others. Otherwise, what I have to do, I have to go and do it either one way, or I'm limited to one. So you can buy time with money. So that's a shift that I want you to have. that it is possible to efficiently use your time by money, by using money. We all like, I mean, we are okay to suffer rather than spending money and increasing our productivity, increasing the quality of our life. Pain is inevitable. All of us will have pain, but suffering is optional. In India, we have come to that culturally, we have come to that conclusion, oh, I need to suffer. No, you don't have to. So you can use money to buy time. And I'm going to expand on this. And if you have time, I mean, if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer that. We think about money and then we say, okay, there are two aspects of money, right? Assets and debts. With money, I can buy a house, I can buy stocks, I can buy real estate. Those are assets that give us more money at a later point in time. But I can also get into debt. Sometimes debts are good, but most often debts are not good, right? So that's what we think about. But if time is money, then can I do something so that some things are time assets and some things are time debts? Most often that is what it happens. It's all time debts that we have. Somebody else controls my time. That's time debt. I have given to somebody else to control it. We don't say, okay, book my time only between this time. No, we don't say it. Call me anytime you want. We want to impress people. And then we say, okay, you want to call me at 5 o'clock? It's okay, you can call me. Not to our friends. Not to our friends. To colleagues, to office, to our bosses, we will say, call me anytime. But when our spouse calls us, we don't pick it up, right? So those are time debts. But we can also do time assets. We can do something, like as I said, you can buy time with money. So those are time assets. So I want you to think, like how you are doing with money, you can also do the same thing with time. You can have time assets and time debts. Again, as I said, none of these things are my own concepts. None of these things are my own. I invented any of these things, but all of this I practice. Okay? So you can do this. Like as I said, I use, say for example, Dropbox. Can you mute, please? Sorry. Okay, so you can use time to build assets and build debts. So that's a second point. I want you to understand, if time is money, then money is time. With money, if you can buy assets and debts, similarly you can do with time also. You can have time assets and you can have time debts. Okay. Now, routines. The third point is routines. When I say morning routines, some of you might wake up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Some of you might only wake up at 10 o'clock. That's okay, because of your, say for example, you're having night shifts and you sleep only at 1, 2, and then you can only wake up at 10. That's absolutely okay. I'm not asking you to change your time that you're starting. But if you can, it is good. But what are you doing in the first 1 or 2 hours of you waking up? That's the point that I'm saying here. As soon as you wake up, the first 1-2 hours, that should be for you, and you should win those 1 or 2 hours. You should do something there with which you are able to kind of have a feeling, I've done something for myself. So if you take myself, I have about 8-9 morning routines. Do I do that every single day? No, but I try to do at least about 3 or 4 of them every single day, and I've been doing this for the last 10 years. So I wake up at 4:45, 5. First thing that I do is I read Bible and pray. And after I say my prayers, my wife brings up a really, really good coffee. We spend at least about 10 minutes. We talk about different things. Sorry. Vasu, can you? Yeah, thank you. So I spend at least 10 minutes with her, and we talk. Then I read something. So I have a routine, again, something I might read or something I might create. Let's say, for example, today, I created these slides during that morning routine time. Then I will work out. I'll either go for a jog or I will work out at home, and only, half an hour, not much. Only the things that I can do. Again, jogging, probably I will do only, 4-5 kilometers, not more than that. Some workout, and then I'll take a shower, and then I'm ready for the day, right? Now, and then have a breakfast and ready for the day. Now, as I said, some days I can't have all of them, but most of the days I have it. And what happens by the time I'm starting my work, by the time I'm interacting with the rest of the world, I already have a feeling I've done something for myself. I have learned something new. I've spent some time with my wife, so I have built something for her. So if you see here, I've done something for my physical, something for my spiritual, something for my family within the first 2-3 hours or so. And that gives me a lot more confidence, that it gives me a self-confidence. It gives me a boost and says, okay, I can get things done. So when during the day, it gives me a lot of self-confidence to face the day. Okay. So who of you have any routines? Do you have any routines? What kind of routines you have? Or if you have any questions, let me know on this.
Yeah.
Sarang,
So,
do you have?
Yeah, Joseph.
Yeah.
So just talking on this routine, I have recently written my blog, wake up at 5 a.m. And I think it's very similar that I follow. So I have understood, like, it's like 3 important things that comes to me. So my routine helps me to get into a rhythm for the day, as you have said. The specific time blocks helps me to focus on only one thing at a time. So it might be anything. So in my blog as well, I have written multiple things. And the third, that it helps me to give me sense of achievements. Like it can be cycling, which I actually do on in a week. Like without cycling, I can't stop myself. Then exercise, running, journaling, coding, reading and writing. And these are few things. I pick like maybe 1 or 2, but I definitely do.
So as you rightly said, Sarang, over a long period of time, you actually identify yourself. So for me, if I don't jog, I somehow feel that day I am missing something. And as I said, I'm not a long distance runner or something like that. Just 2-3 kilometers I might jog, and when I jog, I feel really good about it, right? So thanks, Sarang. And Sarang, you might want to post the link to that particular blog that you talked about, so that others, if they want, they can read about it. Okay, so we talked about this particular thing on the topic of saving time with money. I use a lot of tools. Let's say, for example, I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram and everything. So Rishabh, do you want to talk about the tool that you have? Rishabh Garg, do you want to talk about the tool that you have? So Rishabh has developed a tool on Twitter, on top of Twitter. So if you are using Twitter, I think you should have a look at this particular tool. This is again, it saves a lot of time for you. See, for me, the way I look at Twitter is kind of having interaction with some of the finest minds in the world. So I will save a lot of these tweets, but then guess what? After a while, it's all lost. It's all lost in the sea of tweets. Now, Rishabh has created a tool. Rishabh, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, thanks, Joseph. So hey, I'm Rishabh, and basically I have built a tool called Tweetflick, and we have just launched it on yesterday on Product Hunt. So basically, I want to tell you what Tweetflick is and why we decided to build it, so that you can also have a gist and idea about why we built it. So for me, like Twitter was a very, very valuable platform for me because I have got so many opportunities. I got to know Joseph personally from Twitter. I joined the community called Visualize Value, which was very helpful for me. And as well as means the job that I have as of now, the day job, it's also because of Twitter. So Twitter means literally has changed my life in some of the ways. and there are like too many useful tweets that keeps on coming on. And now it's like with the internet there is a sea of information. Means there are a lot of blogs, there are a lot of nuggets, and there are a lot of things which are going on. So there is a period of time at which you want to review those things. Means you want to like him, and this is being said by someone else, but you can't remember. So that's why I built TweetFlick. Means TweetFlick is a way to save your tweets. Like you are scrolling through the Twitter, you are just going through the tweets and liking those or commenting maybe. But you like, yeah, this tweet is helpful, can be helpful for me. I want to save it. This is something which I like. This is something which I want to take notes on. This is something I want to like review for the later. But there is no other way that you can do by just using Twitter. So we build a tool called TweetFlick. Here you can basically save the tweets like the way you want. You can categorize them, put into different categories so that it is helpful for you to review. And then you can also put the notes on the top of it. So yeah, it's like building a library of your most favorite tweets so that you can have all of them in one single place.
Thanks.
So yeah, this is a bit.
So you should, Rishabh, you should put that link to that Twitter flick on the so that everybody can, have a
Yeah, sure.
If you're not on Twitter, please check out Twitter. It's, as I said, it's like learning from some of the finest minds. Of course, there's a lot of trolling. There's a lot of, bad things that are there. But then you can curate, you can follow some of the finest minds. You can learn from some of the finest minds. In fact, as Rishabh said, I met Rishabh over Twitter. I met Xavier over Twitter. All of these things that are happening over Twitter, and I have ton of things that are stored on Twitter, and I'm going to see how much Rishabh is charging today. It is not, but I wouldn't mind paying. But because, as I said, if something would save me time, then I don't mind spending money on it. So I have the philosophy, again, it's all about an unconventional way of thinking, that spend money to earn time. So if you can do it, that's fantastic, right? So then we talked about routines. We talked about tools. We talked about, if time equal to money, then money is time. So we talked about it. This is another thing similar to, say for example, this, win the mornings. All of them are linked to one to the other. And I'm going to tell you what it means. This is again from Peter Drucker and Jim Collins. Make one decision, not 100 decisions. Say for example, every day you come in, you after shower, and then you say, okay, what dress I will wear and what pant I will put in. Will this match? And now we don't wear ties, but if you are to wear tie, then will they match? And you are spending 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes in picking up that shirt and pant and then dress, which you can avoid. So for me, I have blue jeans, blue shirt or white shirt or light blue. Some variation of that. That's it. Any day, they will match. Now, not only here, right? When I go for my annual shopping, 10 minutes, it's all over. I spend more time in billing counter than in actually shopping for myself. So one decision, not 100 decisions over my life. And I do that in multiple different things. So say, for example, routines, right? Always I wake up at 5 o'clock. Always, it's 5:30, I start reading Bible. So it is one decision. So I don't wake up, should I go for a job today? No. It is jogging, right? So everything is routinized. Now you might say, Joseph, what's the fun in it? You know what? Where I have to experiment, there I will experiment. Where I have to spend time, my decision-making power, I will do that. Let's say, for example, these shows, how should I improve upon gravitas winds? There I spend a lot of time. There I talk to a lot of people. There I do a lot of experimentation. There I still don't know what's the one decision that I have to take. And I'm going to give you another example. Take these slides that I have made. Across all of this, you will see single color, same background color, no other change, one decision, right? See the font. There are only 3 types of font sizes. Colors. There are only 3 colors. Again, make one decision. Across, if you see, it will be the same thing. So, one decision, not 100 decisions, right? So, every time I'm not looking at what transition I have to make, will this color go together? No. One decision, stay with it, be productive. So likewise, so this is one another example, right? From dressing or this. So let's say, for example, on food, on being on diet. And again, for people who are on Gravitas Wins course, they would have heard this umpteen number of times, is that, again, there I used to, calculate calories and whatnot, and I've never been able to keep any of those things. For me, what worked? One decision: after 7 o'clock, don't eat, and no soda. Those are the two decisions that I made. That's it. I'm sticking with it. So from 7 in the night to morning 6, 7, I don't eat anything. That's it. Simple. Intermittent fasting. One decision, not 100 decisions. So every time I look at the food, I don't have to ask, should I eat this or not? Right? Is it after 7 o'clock? Yes. No, not eating. Is it before 7 o'clock? Enjoy. That's a very simple decision. Right? So in all of these kinds of stuff, make one decision and not 100 decisions. That is important. And that's how you're becoming productive. Then all of that mental power you can use on the things that matter. Where we are talking about, say, for example, on the obituary. This is how I want my friends to know me. This is how I want my society to know me. Then I can spend time on that. And I can use my brain power on those kinds of stuff. Right? So if you make one decision, then it becomes a lot more easier for you to conduct your life. And you can be a lot more faster than so many of the other people of the same role, same age, same in the society, and so on and so forth. You are a lot farther from the others, because so many of the things are decided, and then you are able to move forward on it. Okay. The other thing is, finally, and I'll finish up with this. We all think speed is what we need. So we are all running in the treadmill called life, and we are going as fast as possible. You know what? Speed does not matter, because when you are running on treadmill, you are not going anywhere. But what matters is velocity. Even if it is small speed, very less speed, but you are going in a particular direction. That is what matters. Like, I'm going to take the example of Rishabh, right? Say, for example, Rishabh is developing a tool on his own, and I am also developing a tool on my own. And guess what? Monday, I am like going fast and fast and fast. I have written 1,000 lines of code, and that's it. I've not done anything other than that. But Rishabh, every day, he's making slow progress, but he's moving in the direction. At a certain point in time, who will win? He's going to win. Again, we might have heard about this hare and tortoise kind of a story. The point here is the velocity, the direction matters, not the speed. When will you get your direction? When you know your obituary. When you know this is the direction that I want to go, then you will say, okay, fine. Then I'm going to go there even at a small speed. Then I'm going to go to that particular direction. Small changes I'm going to make, not big changes. I can't make big changes. I am married, I have 2 kids, I have my job, I have my EMI. I can't make big changes. That's fine. Can you make small changes towards the direction that you want to go? Because many a times we don't know what the direction that we want to go. We are all copying others and thinking, we'll pick from one to the other, and then we are all going aimless, and that is why we are not being productive. Because when you enjoy doing something, so things like creating this deck, creating these kinds of slides, coding, talking to people like all of you, I enjoy this. So I spent 2 hours creating this deck. I don't feel burnt out. I don't feel tired after the 2 hours. But guess what? You ask me to look at a tax form, you ask me to look at some kind of an accounting. In 15 minutes, my mind is tired, and I'm walking up, and I'm trying to find some ways I can waste my time. And that's what happens. When we know what we enjoy doing, and when we do that, we can do wonders. When we don't know that, that's when we feel burned out, right? So as Xavier and Rajat gave a very, very good introduction in life. So look at as an attitude, productivity as an attitude, not as an act. Not as Monday to Friday I'm going to do it, not as 9 to 5, I'm going to do it, but as something that I do all the time. I am productive. I am a productive person, right? That's my identity. And how I do it, I know what direction I want to go. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to make decisions towards that particular direction. If you know that, I think that is good, right? This is what I teach in Gravitas Wins course. As Aswini and Sukhinder and Rishabh and others shared, this is what we go through, and I give you all that kinds of tools. So this is how others have benefited. Some of these people, I mean, none of them are here. Usually PK Kurana comes in. Today he is not here. This is how all of these guys have benefited, and the sessions are going on. Even now, there is a batch that is going on. There's a cohort that's going on. And the next cohort is going to start in July 2nd week. And everything that I talked about, right? So frameworks, mental models that will help you to know your direction and help you to make small changes. So it's a 12-week course. I keep an accountability. So you say, this is the direction I want to go, and this is what I want to do. This is a small change that I want to do in the 12 weeks, and you share it with the community, and the community will keep you accountable. And I will help you decipher any knots that you might have in your mind, any questions that you might have, and then I kind of try to take it out. And if you have these, again, if you look at these 4 components, wealth, insights, network, and self-control, if you build on these 4, your life will be a lot more successful, because this insight, the thing that you think differently, that insight is what is going to give you edge in your life. That is what is going to take you farther away from others, right? So that's the insight. When you share that insight with a network, with the people that you know, and when you have your wealth, when you have your, the network, because your network is the net worth, right? And they are going to help you grow. And that is how you also become wealthy, because people within the network will refer you new opportunities, and then you can grab those opportunities. And all of this is centered around self-control. Today we read about McAfee's founder, dead in his cell. I don't know why he is dead, but at least I know why he got into prison and everything. He's an amazing guy, intellectually fantastic guy. But look at what happened to him, right? And there are multiple examples. So we need self-control to anchor our life, and we talk about all of this in the course. And if you're not connected with me, please connect with me on any fashion. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter. My website is jeju.com. Please connect with me and have a life of its. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. And any questions, any comments, anything at all.